Hi, I'm Daniel and welcome to first weekly stock market recap. As this is the first video of this kind on this channel, in case you like this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe as well, so I know that I should continue with videos like this at the end of every trading week. Okay, but let's take a look on what was actually happening on the markets this week. As you can see at the bottom, this was one of the most volatile weeks in the recent years. And it all started, of course, because of the Trump's tariffs. As the last week Trump imposed the tariffs on the whole world, during the weekend China replied with their own tariffs. To be exact, China imposed 34% reciprocal tariffs on the US during the weekend. Thanks this, the S&P 500 was down more than 4% before the open on the Monday, but as soon as the market opened, the info about 90-day tariff pause was leaked and S&P 500 added more than 7% in less than half hour. But of course then this information was denied, that it's not true, and the stock price dropped once again. As we all know now, it was not a fake news, but let's continue. On the Tuesday, it was a different story because at the beginning, Trump threatened China that he will impose 50% tariffs on China, but as China replied they are willing to fight till the end, Trump decided to put 104% tariffs on China on Tuesday, and thanks this, the S&P 500 ended Tuesday in the red numbers. Then of course, Wednesday came. And this is where the majority of the show this week happened, because on the Wednesday, China replied with their even higher reciprocal tariffs at the level of the 84% on the US goods, services and majority of the stuff. What followed by information about 90 days pause on the tariffs for almost all world, except China, where the Trump decided to put even higher tariffs at the level of the 125%. So as the market received the information about the 90-day pause on the tariffs, we went up in single day by almost 10% on the S&P 500, more than 12% on the nasdaq, and some companies like AMD went up more than 22%, Nvidia 18%, and it was absolute madness. I even found this tweet that says the S&P 500 is now as volatile as Bitcoin. Like really, this week was no joke. On the Thursday, the mood on the market once again changed as the trade war between the US and China escalated even more. Trump decided to impose 145% tariffs, what was of course even higher than the original 125%. Thanks this, S&P 500 ended down more than 3% on the Thursday, even though also at the Thursday we had reported the CPI, what means reported inflation, and we received even better results than what was expected, what means market could take it as positive message. But even through all of those good data coming from the macro, the S&P 500 ended lower in the end, mainly thanks to all of those informations about the tariffs. And of course China didn't wait for a long to reply with increasing of their tariffs. So here I found the charts of increasing tariffs across the previous few days. As we can see here, the amount of tariffs on the China by the US, 54% on the April 2, 104 on the April 8, and April 9, 145%. In contrary, the China tariffs on the US was 34%, then April 9, 84%, and then 125% since the April 11th, what is basically today. So trade war escalates, but even through all of this trade war, the S&P 500 ended the week in the green numbers. So as we said already, the S&P 500 is this week up 5.7%, the Nasdaq added 7.29% this week, while the oil price decreased by 0.68%, what is still almost 20% lower than we were 6 months ago. What is of course a good sign for the economy, and it could help to lower inflation in the following days, weeks and months. Euro USD is at the moment at the 1.1359, what means the US dollar became 3.3% weaker this week, mainly thanks to all of this trade war coming into the world. But of course, weaker US dollar and the not so good situation on the stock market helped gold, which had the best trading week since the 2020. Gold added 8% this week and it reached new all-time highs this week as well. As we can see in the last 5 years, it's just beautiful chart that's going only up. Who would say 5 years ago that gold will see those levels at this time? When we'll take a look on the digital coin on the other side, here the Bitcoin added more than 7% this week, but as we can see, it's still 10% down year to date. We can also take a look on the best performing stocks in the SP 500 this week. We can see that, for example, Broadcom added more than 24% this week only, Palantir almost 20%, Nvidia 17.6%, Boeing 14%, and many more. On the other side, when we will take a look on the worst performing stocks in this week, we can see here, for example, Bristol Myers, D.R. Horton, Chevron, Nike, and many more. Okay, so this was basically everything what was happening on the stock market in the previous week. Now we can take a look on what to expect in the following week. So next week we can see here the CPI report from the Britain. We can see core retail sales in the US. On the Wednesday, the Fed Chair Powell will speak as well. And on the Thursday, the main refinancing rate will be decided about at the Europe Union. And one more thing that we can take a look on is the earnings season. As this week we started another earnings season, we had already reports of few banks. And next week we can see few more banks, for example, First Bank, Goldman Sachs on the Monday. Then on the Tuesday we got there, for example, Interactive Brokers, Wednesday ASML, Thursday TSMC, Netflix, Aftermarket. So next week it's not gonna be huge based on the earnings season or the macro data. But at the current situation, it's really hard to say what to expect and what will happen across the weekend and what new informations about the tariffs, trade war, or anything else we will receive from the White House or from the other countries around the world. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, but that's all for this weekly stock market recap. As I said, this is first video like this. In case you would like to see something more added to this video or something less, let me know in the comment section. And in case you would like to see more videos like this at the end of every trading week, please hit the like button and subscribe as well. But for me, that's really all. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, and see you all at the next video. Goodbye.